Thank you. I'll take one. I will answer to each one of you. I'm a police officer who understood the task at hand. When I joined the service, it was my resolve to make sure that I deal with criminals head on. Hence, I had chosen a career within the combating side of policing. That's what led me to work in the units that I worked for over time. Yes, I've been a provincial commissioner and I'm still a provincial commissioner coordinating different type of policing operations in this province. And I've been involved with a lot of operations in the country in the past. But I understand that at this present moment, the war that we are facing is so serious that it deals with high-level senior officers within the criminal justice system. Therefore, it is important for us to go into a combat mode. It is important for me to make sure that I take on the enemy directly. So when you see me and you see this management and you understand that we have hardworking men and women, not only in KZN, but across the board in the country, who doesn't like crime, who doesn't like these criminals. I, fortunately, am a citizen in this country. My families are spread across different provinces. So it is my duty and the fellow police officers to protect them. So I'm not going to surrender their freedom. I'm not going to surrender their safety to anyone. So I will die for this badge. I will die for them. So I will fight this fight until the end. Wherever the end is, we will fight. We're not going to stop. We've got family members, brothers and sisters. We've got children that are exposed to drugs. This drug cartel, which includes a group in Gauteng that's operating in Gauteng as their headquarters, are importing these drugs from abroad, South America in the main, through this port of Durban, amongst others, to Gauteng, and they process them in Gauteng, and from there they distribute this drug all over in the country as well as other countries. We've been involved with a lot of shooting incidents in KZN, especially at Nhlanhla. As we are engaging with these youngsters, we are doing analysis, and we are realizing, yes, they might be ill-disciplined kids, but their behavior is encouraged by the substance that they take. It gives them courage to kill. It gives them courage to rape. It gives them courage to murder. And if we take away this substance, they will become good citizens. They will become good kids. So therefore, we need to get rid of drugs. Now we understand when we fight with the drug cartels that have controlled police generals, have controlled prosecution and judiciary, it's not going to be a small game. So unfortunately, some of us have to sacrifice. We've reached a stage where we are sacrificing for the good of the South Africans, for the children of South Africa, to be free from drugs. So I do hope that the authorities that have been briefed about this will take necessary action in dealing with it. As a police officer, I cannot turn a blind eye when I see a crime being committed. That's why I mentioned that. We are already working with the prosecution, working on case dockets for those that took a decision to stop the investigation. So we have to investigate to establish, because this new administration came into office last year. This IMC that was established by the president has been in existence before the new government. Ever since the new government took over, to date, there's never been a briefing given by myself, nor my management. I believe nothing done by the provincial, the project leader, which is Gerald Khumalo, who's now arrested. I cannot talk much about my boss, but us, as people who are running on the ground, we have never given a presentation to the Minister of Police about the work, the successes that I presented of this political killing task team in this province. So for a decision to disband it, we are 100% sure after evidence collected that is informed by the work that they were doing in Gauteng, which the work they did in Gauteng was affecting the people that are closer to the people that are closer to our executive authority. So our investigation is going to be that wide. We're going to uncover anyone had a role to play. There are people that refer to themselves as whistleblowers. The strategy that is being used is to make sure that they taint the image of a person in a public space. They talk bad about you in the public space. For a member of parliament to come and talk about the procurement of facilities of crime intelligence, which is a covert thing, which is something that should not be in a public space, is not been questioned by anyone. The person who's accused understands that he cannot speak in public about it because it's a covert thing. If he speaks public about it, he's going to be facing a criminal offense himself. Now they're exploiting that gap, that we know this person can't speak, so let's speak and make him look bad. He can only speak behind closed doors in parliament, but he can't speak to the public. Push the man until he reaches the end, and he's going to expose the issues of national security of this country, simply because there are people with evil intentions who are pushing him to get to that stage, using the state apparatus to execute the mandate. So we have to investigate in order to be able to remove the cancer. That's where we're going to go. I hope I answered all your questions.
Just what the implications for you on this point?
Yeah, what I said when I started, that I've decided to take this fight head on. So the least that can ever happen to me is to someone to come and attack me, or somebody to issue an instruction that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi must be fired from the police, or suspended, or arrested for that matter. What I know, what I like about KwaZulu-Natal, especially in South Africa at large, that we've got very dedicated people out there, from the law enforcement as well as private sector, especially the security companies, that we are running the streets with them on daily basis, who understand that there's a rot in this organization, who understand these problems that we're talking about, and they're not going to sit back and allow this thing to continue. So I'm inviting all of them. I'm inviting the citizens to stand up and protect these men and women who are standing for the truth in this organization. They must protect them. Whether I'm there or not there, fight must go on. We must protect this country against crime. It's all what we can do. So whatever happens to me happens. I'll take it, whatever happens, happens. If it's prison, it will be prison. It's already on communication planned by Mohotsi, the DNC, and the Chief of Staff, that they must deal with my matters. Whatever matters comes, they will come. But what we must not surrender is this country and our children to be controlled by drug syndicates. And that's what is currently happening. Yes, sir. Who's next?
Next one. This was the last one. Clive.
Yes, thanks, sir. My name is Nhlanhla from the Witness. My first question is really around clarity. You talk about evidence collected. Obviously, when you collect evidence, whatever evidence you get, it must be preceded by an investigation. I'm just trying to understand the nature of the investigation conducted, who authorized it.
Which one now?
No, the evidence that you collected, that you have been citing.
I think it means the Katiso Mulife arrest when those weapons were taken and taken for ballistics. Is that what you're referring to?
No, my understanding is that there is pieces of evidence that confirms kind of a conspiracy theory against you, and you are citing pieces of evidence. I'm just saying, did you do it yourself, the collecting of this evidence?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I've said, if maybe you didn't capture this thing, so when I was talking, you were typing, that's why I didn't get some of the things.
No, I was typing much.
The team of Gauteng Organized Crime Unit been investigating a murder case of Mr. Swart. And they came across problem. I'm not going to elaborate what the problems are, which made them realize that they need support from elsewhere outside Gauteng. Because there are some senior officers that are in close communication with their targets. Hence, they came to me and I dispatched the team to go and assist them. In that investigation the team were doing in Gauteng under the leadership of Jared Khumalo, who's now arrested, uncovered a lot of things. It led to the arrest of one of the drug lords and the search of the other one, and eventually the arrest of the second one. that the arrest of the second one, and when they took his phone and they downloaded his phone and they found all this communication. So it is the team that was working, not me. So that's where everything was unfolding. We were asking ourselves a question as to what made the minister to decide to disband the team. We did not know until we found it from the suspect's phone. That, this thing came from December as a strategy to neutralize the investigation against these drug laws. Because the team was perceived to be handling the drug lord case. What they did not realize is that that case docket was not part of the political task team. That case docket was in Gauteng. And the hardworking men in Gauteng were investigating that. Because they were threatened, they were supported by this team. But the docket remained there. Now there's a number of people that should have been arrested in Gauteng that are not arrested because the prosecutions does not want to sign off the warrant of arrest for those people. We do hope that pretty soon we might find some changes with good, dedicated prosecutors. We might see arrests happening. And these incident that involves artists in this country that were killed is going to come to the fore. And when that comes to the fore, you'll remember the day when I stood here before you and I spoke about it. So my investigation in this province is not about my plot per se, but it's about the defeating the ends of justice. How do you decide to stop the investigation from March to date? Who gives you the authority? There's directives here from prosecution that investigating officer must do A to Z. These investigating officers were told to go home and leave these investigations. For whose benefit? So we ask a question. And the instruction says, as per the directive of the executive authority. Now we ask ourselves, when we're going to scrutinize this, we investigate, what is the constitutional mandate of the Minister of Police and what is the constitutional mandate of the South African Police Service? What is the Police Act saying about the powers of the police commissioner versus what the Minister of Police is supposed to do? There's a policy and there's operations. I'd said on the record before, I will not close the task team not unless the National Commissioner gives me the instruction. That's why today this team is working. So we're not going to stop. That's why as we continue as police officer, we investigate, we're going to find the rot. Now the cancer has gone so deep that we have to now focus ourselves in here and stop chasing children at Inanda. We must get rid of the drug that make those kids to behave like that.
Yeah, no, I wanted to, there are two questions. The other one is around the protocols. We know in government there are strict protocols, particularly in the police, that stipulates that if you have a grievance like the one that you have in now, these are processes that you should follow. So I just wanted to find out whether did you escalate the matter maybe up to the president, and also before you came out of force in public now. And also I just want to check, there are 11 district commissioners here. Are they in support of the stance that you have adopted? Thanks.
Yeah, well, I think the latter part, here the district commissioners, maybe they can answer themselves if you directed questions to them, but they are here because they've been briefed about this, what we are doing. You correctly said we have got chain of command, and I've said before, the National Commissioner, Jarma Simula, is my commander, and nobody else. At the provincial office, at the province of KwaZulu-Natal, I account and report to the legislature and via the executive authority in the province, of which the premier is the one that supports us. So I must communicate via the executive authority in the province, and I must communicate via the National Commission. And that's where it ends. So this information has been given to the National Commission. He knows about it. He's the one who then can dispose it further to wherever it needs to go. I had requested the portfolio committee chairperson to make sure that he invites me to attend the portfolio committee because I was not initially supposed to be part of it in March 2025. Hence, I spoke the things that I spoke before Parliament in the presence of the Minister of Police. That's where the Minister denied the knowledge of this gentleman, of which today we have evidence through that team, hardworking team in Gauteng, had picked up. That's why I want to emphasize that this whole cracking of or investigation of the syndicate was not started by the KZN police, it was started by the Gauteng members. But because they came under difficulty, they called for support. So we went there to support our colleagues. I salute those members because they don't sleep at home. Some of them have not been at home for a year because they are wanted. These are Gauteng members, not here. Yes, we talk about crime being coordinated in Gauteng province, but there are members in Gauteng, both SAPS, prosecution and judiciary, who are against what is happening. But because these syndicates are able to control those in power, it makes the investigation not to continue in Gauteng. That is our problem. Unfortunately, the operations of the justice system, we cannot take a case that incident happened in Gauteng and investigate it in KZN. It has to be done there. Decision to prosecute must be happen there. The judiciary that preside over it must happen in the same place. So if those people responsible are controlled by the syndicate, then that case is going to fall flat.
Yes, no Africa, no.
PC, I just wanted clarification on whether, because you're saying that the national commander is who you report to, did he give you the go-ahead to continue with the political task team? Because you're telling us that the work continued. Did you get the go-ahead from him to continue with it, even though there was a decision that was made from above? And then I just wanted clarity on when you mentioned the arrest of the murder of Swart. You mentioned that the weapons that were found there, the ballistics when they came back, they were linking to several crimes, including, you said, music artists. Did you mean Johannesburg and Durban, or did you say, were you saying it as a general statement?
Maybe the second question, the firearms were linked with the murders of artists in the main. Those artists were killed in Gauteng, which dates back to 2021. I'm not saying which type of artist, but the South African prominent artists that were murders, their case has not been resolved to date. At least in KZN, we've made an arrest that is known in public about the murder of AKA and his friend. But in Gauteng, we haven't had much. We now know there is firearms linked with murders of some of those artists. So, but the decision must now be taken that these people must be prosecuted because they are now known. Who are the suspects that are involved? The first part of your question, I'm not sure if I remember very well now everything that you've asked on it. With regard to the political task team. The minister issues a letter on the 31st. The National Commission is on leave. National Commission comes back from leave. He's concerned about this directive of the minister because it's got criminal in it. That you don't stop a criminal investigation. Even the National Commission himself can't tell a constable to stop an investigation. So who is then the minister can say that? And the Deputy National Commissioner will then issue these directives. The National Commissioner signs a letter, a call-up instruction to continue deploying this task team to work. He authorized it in black and white, and he even put budget on it. So the team has been working ever since under the authority of the National Commission. The National Commission has never disbanded the team. That's why I said he never issued the instruction of withdrawing of case dockets. Hence the investigation, because we now have to establish who then does this. So surely if the National Commission doesn't toe the line, he must go himself, most likely. Wonder why we had some things on the news last weekend. Because then if he goes, they take over and everything can be controlled.
Last one. Okay, SABC. Both of you.
Okay.
There is, yes.
So, yes. Just for clarity's sake, we have the case that's looking into the drug syndicate in Gauteng. You also talk about looking into the defeating the end of justice. Now, when we talk about that, where was the case registered? Which unit is carrying that docket?
I said we are busy discussing this with the prosecution. We are putting this evidence together. We have not registered a case yet because we still needed to get some clarity from people who are part of this investigation, who have issued whether they issued instruction, where does the instruction come from, and so forth. We understand this to be a task of the interministerial committee. Then we'll expect the ministers of these departments to also assist us to tell us whether, as the committee, did they issue this instruction that authorize the disbandment of the team, and so forth. So once we compile all those things and then the prosecutors are happy with it, then we'll register the docket, then we can be able to take it to court and be able to hear what could have been the reasons behind.
Nipo, last one.
Nhlanhla from SABC. Just a couple of questions, PC. You mentioned that Brown reports from the Northwest. Does he enjoy the support of the Minister of Police? And you keep on mentioning the Minister of Police in all your investigations. Are you insinuating that the Minister is involved or is linked in criminal elements that you have been mentioning? And then
maybe ask one by one so I don't keep on forgetting.
Just one.
No. Let me answer this one. Then she can ask another one. The Minister of Police, through the communication that we received, first he writes a letter, he disbands the team. In the same letter, he stops the filling of vacancies. We are 7 months down the line without a command of crime intelligence. We don't know the reason. We've asked the National Commission to explain to us why is this. He says the minister gave the instruction. So we don't know what is the intention. And we, in Parliament, even say that we don't know what informs the minister to say disband the team, because the team's work speaks for itself. Is there? I mean, on frequent basis, the previous ministers were briefing the nation about what the team is doing. This new current administration has not done that. Now suddenly we see the letter that says the team is disbanded. We don't know the reason. Fortunately for the investigation happening in Gauteng under the leadership of the project manager, which is Jaro Kumalo, and evidence is retrieved from one of the criminal syndicates, which makes it clear that there's a communication between the minister and these people. The very same minister goes on record on a teleconversation he's having with someone else, where he says, I know this is my comrade. Whereas he has said in Parliament he does not know the person. We see on the records communication of this Brown Mkhwanazi together with an accused. The communication that involves police things amongst them is to deal with Mkhwanazi and Khumalo. Amongst them is to expeditiously applying disciplinary regulations of the South African police deal with Mkhwanazi. That's why there's a call in public from a person that I will not necessarily mention his name, that the National Commission must bypass the disciplinary regulations of the service, must simply suspend these people because they are arrested. Why is that call? It's a call that is putting more pressure to make sure that the crime intelligence is handing over to the criminal syndicates. That's what it's about. So the people make calls and they disregard that which is a rule in the organization. You commit a misconduct, produce a report as an arresting authority to the executive authority or to the leader of that institution and say, this person was arrested for A to Z. And what comes after next is an internal investigation that must happen to establish whether do we keep this person in that environment or not. If we keep this person, will it not interfere with the investigation or not? But those powers are taken away from the National Commission who's supposed to do that by the court, by magistrate who says you must not go there. So automatically it means the court have now taken the role of the National Commission dealing with the disciplinary matter by suspending people. The National Commission is confused. Now, what does this court mean? That's why to date, the National Commission has not appointed anyone. So which means a whole week has gone by, this country is suffering, there's no head of crime intelligence. Because court decided, not the court, maybe let me rephrase, one presiding officer decided that these people cannot go and work there. So that almost suspended the entire disciplinary regulations of the police, which is a concern. Not to say people did not commit misconduct. They would have been arrested if they committed misconduct. But allow the internal process to happen. But they are not doing that. They are on the media attacking. Another question.
Now, PC, with all this work that you have been doing, arresting criminals and trying to dismantle this drug cartel or criminal syndicates, do you believe that all these investigations against you, they were purposefully targeting you so that you can be removed or eliminated from these investigations? And do you believe that your safety is in jeopardy after this revelation?
Yeah, well, the safety of South Africans is in jeopardy. At least Mkhwanazi still has a firearm. He still has a men and women that he works with. He can still somehow protect himself. There are men and women out there that are vulnerable. They've got no one to protect. So we can't be worried about our own safety. We must worry about the safety of the citizens. So ours is to go out there and lay our life to protect them. That is my only concern right now. Not about my safety. Everyone shall die. The time will come. If it comes, it comes. But if an enemy comes to you, attack the enemy. Don't allow the enemy to take advantage. You can't just lie with your arms in your hands like that. You have to fight. So that's what we are doing now in KZN, and we shall fight. And this fight is very big. So it needs people who are committed. People who are not worried. No, they're going to chase you. They're going to arrest you. Get out of that prison and fight. They're going to suspend, they're going to dismiss you, they can get you out of the police. When you're out of the police, join men and women in the private sector that are dedicated in dealing with this criminality and fight from outside. That's why we're calling on them to also join us to fight. That is not going to stop. So I'm not worried about my safety in as far as these investigations are concerned. I said I must ask one question at a time. What is the other one that was prefacing? Thank you so much, because you forgot as well.
Thank you, General.